The giant silver ship hung in the sky above New York City. People stopped and stared up at it. Some took pictures, some ran away, but most just stood there, mouths open. On board the ship, Ambassador Tahoe Kim adjusted his formal robes. He was not happy about this mission. His people, the Krell, ruled the Galactic Imperium for 10,000 years. They had met hundreds of alien species. All of them joined the Imperium or were crushed. "Are you ready, Ambassador?" asked his assistant Jaya. "Yes, these humans will be simple to deal with. Our scans show they barely left their planet," Tahoe said. The transport beam took them down to Earth. They appeared in the United Nations building where world leaders waited. Humans gasped at the sudden appearance of the aliens. Dr. Ju Park stepped forward. She was Earth's top scientist and chosen speaker. Her black hair was pulled back in a neat bun, and she wore a simple blue suit. "Welcome to Earth," she said calmly. "We are honored by your visit." Tahoe looked down at her from his 8-foot height. His blue skin shimmered under the lights. "I am Ambassador Tahoe Kim of the Galactic Imperium. We rule 3 spiral arms of this galaxy. Your planet is now within our borders." Whispers filled the room. Dr. Park kept her face calm. "That's interesting," she said. "We were not aware we needed ruling." Tahoe's mouth twisted. "All species need guidance. Your kind is still young. You have much to learn." He waved his hand, and a hologram appeared showing a list. "These are the technological benchmarks required for even basic membership in our Imperium. I see you have achieved perhaps 2 of the 20. Dr. Park studied the list and then smiled. "Actually, Ambassador, we've achieved 14 of these benchmarks. We just use different methods than you." Tahoe laughed. His voice boomed through the room. "Impossible. Your people haven't even colonized your solar system properly." "We don't need to rush," Dr. Park said. "We're still fixing problems on our own planet first." "Prove your claims," Tahoe demanded. "Show me this supposed technology." Dr. Park nodded to her assistant. A small device was brought forward. It was a plain black cube about 6 inches across. "This is our quantum computing system," she explained. "It can process data faster than anything on your list." "That tiny box," Tahoe sneered. "Our smallest quantum computers fill rooms." "Size isn't everything," Dr. Park said. Some human leaders coughed to hide their smiles. "Prove it works," Tahoe demanded. Dr. Park touched the cube. "Computer, please solve the stellar drift calculations for the Andromeda galaxy for the next 1,000,000 years." The cube hummed softly. 3 seconds later, a perfect hologram of Andromeda appeared, showing its movement across the night sky for the next 1,000,000 years. Tahoe's yellow eyes widened. He stepped back. That's not possible," he whispered. "Those calculations would take our best computers weeks." "Would you like to see more?" Dr. Park asked. "Perhaps our nanomedicine or our gravity manipulation." Tahoe's face darkened. "This changes things. I must report to the Imperium Council." Later that night, after the aliens returned to their ship, world leaders gathered around Dr. Park. "What happens now?" the American president asked. Dr. Park looked up at the ship still visible in the night sky. "Now they'll either respect us or try to control us. Based on the ambassador's face, I'm betting on the second option. Are we ready for that?" someone asked nervously. Dr. Park smiled. "They think they know what humans are capable of. They have no idea." Above the Earth, Ambassador Tahoe sent an urgent message to the Imperium. "The humans are more advanced than we thought. Send the Grand Imperial Counselor. We have a problem." 3 days after the first meeting, a new ship arrived. This one was much bigger than Ambassador Tahoe's ship. It was gold and black, and it blocked the sun over half of New York City. "They're trying to scare us," said General Do-Yim Lee as he looked up at the massive ship from the UN building window. His uniform was crisp, and his face showed no fear. Dr. Ju Park stood beside him. "Size doesn't equal strength, General." "I know," he smiled. My mother was only 5 feet tall, but she ruled our house like an iron empress. A bright light flashed, and 5 aliens appeared in the center of the UN meeting room. Ambassador Tejo was there, but he stood back. The tallest alien stepped forward. She had deep purple skin and wore golden robes with strange symbols. "I am Grand Imperial Counselor Subin Choi," she announced. Her voice was cold and clear. "I come with the authority of the Imperium." World leaders filled the room. They sat quietly, waiting. "Your species has surprised us," Subin said, "but do not think this makes you special. Many have shown early promise, only to fail when truly tested." She waved her hand, and a large hologram appeared showing 7 strange objects. "These are the 7 trials of worth. All species who wish to remain independent must complete them. Those who fail become servant races under our direct control." The room stayed silent, but faces showed anger at her words. "What exactly are these trials?" asked General Lee calmly. Subin smiled, showing sharp teeth. "First, you must build a space station that can hold 10,000 people, using only materials from your solar system. You have 1 Earth year." People gasped. Such a task would normally take decades. "Second, you must cure this." Another hologram showed a terrible disease that ate away at flesh. "It has killed millions across the galaxy. Our best doctors have failed for centuries." "Third, you must solve this equation." Numbers and symbols appeared that looked impossible to understand. "Our greatest minds have worked on it for 3,000 years." She continued listing challenges, each sounding more impossible than the last. The final challenge was to build a faster-than-light spaceship. "You have 3 Earth years to complete all 7 trials." Subin finished. "Fail even one, and Earth belongs to the Imperium." The room was quiet. Then General Lee stood up. He was a full foot shorter than Subin, but he looked directly into her eyes. "Is that all?" he asked simply. Subin blinked, confused. "These trials have broken civilizations far older than yours, human." General Lee nodded. "Thank you for explaining them so clearly. We accept your challenge." Subin seemed surprised by his confidence. "You do not understand what you face." "Perhaps it is you who does not understand who you face," the general replied. After the aliens left, world leaders gathered in a private room. "This is impossible," said one leader. "We cannot build a space station for 10,000 people in 1 year." "We can," said a quiet voice. Everyone turned to look at Minji Kang, head of the Asian Space Coalition. "I've been working on self-replicating construction robots. With enough resources, we can do it. And I've been studying diseases similar to the one they showed," said Dr. Jin Woo-yoon. "We have new approaches they probably never tried." General Lee looked around the room. "For the first time in human history, we must work together completely. No secrets, no holding back." Dr. Park smiled. "The Imperium thinks these trials are impossible because they've stopped innovating. They've ruled so long they forgot how to think differently." "Then we'll remind them," said General Lee. "Humans are good at doing the impossible. It's practically our hobby." That night, as Subin watched Earth from her ship, Ambassador Tejo approached her. "They seem very confident," he said nervously. "All prey species show bravery before they understand true fear," Subin replied. "They will break like all the others." But deep inside, something bothered her. Why had the humans smiled when they heard the challenges? 1 week after the challenge, Minji Kang stood in a large room filled with Earth's best engineers. Screens covered the walls showing designs and numbers. People talked in excited voices. "The station must hold 10,000 people," Minji said. She pointed to a spinning model in the center of the room. "And we need to build it in 6 months, not a year." 6 months? Someone asked. "That's half the time they gave us." Minji smiled. "Yes, we want to finish early to show them what humans can do." Hyunwoo Ba, the Imperial observer sent to watch Earth's progress, stood in a corner. His green skin made him stand out among the humans. He looked bored. The Imperium had seen this before. races that started with big talk, then failed. You cannot build a space station this size in your lifetimes, let alone 6 months, Hyunwoo said. The Imperium took 15 years to build one half this size. Minji just smiled at him. We'll see. 2 days later, 50 rockets launched from Earth. They carried strange machines to the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. The machines landed on the largest asteroids and began to work. What are those? Hyunwoo asked, watching the video feed. Self-replicating construction robots, Minji explained. They eat the asteroids, make copies of themselves, and turn the rest of the material into station parts. Hyunwoo's eyes widened. That's not possible. A month passed. Where there had been 50 robots, there were now thousands. They swarmed over the asteroids like ants. Parts for the station flew toward Earth orbit, guided by simple computers. How did you develop this technology so quickly? Hyunwoo demanded. We didn't, Minji said. We've had these designs for years. We just never needed to build them at this scale before. But why would you design things you don't need? Hyunwoo looked confused. We call it science fiction, Minji explained. Humans like to imagine future technology and then figure out how to make it real. It's a kind of game for us. Hyunwoo stared at her. You make games out of technology that doesn't exist yet. Of course, Minji said. How else would we know what to build next? 3 months passed. In Earth orbit, the station took shape. It was beautiful. A spinning wheel with spokes leading to a central hub. The outer ring would have artificial gravity from the spinning. The inner sections would be for zero-gravity work and docking. Hyunwoo watched in silence as sections joined together smoothly. His reports to the Imperium became shorter and shorter. He had no explanation for what he was seeing. 4 months after the challenge began, Minji took Hyunwoo to the finished station. They floated through wide hallways that could hold thousands of people. Plants already grew in some sections, providing food and oxygen. This is not possible, Hyunwoo said for the 100th time. Your species is too young for this level of engineering. Young doesn't mean slow, Minji replied. It means we haven't gotten stuck in old ways of thinking yet. The Imperium takes 15 years because you follow the same process every time. We looked at the problem differently. That night, Hyunwoo sent a message to Grand Imperial Counselor Subin. The humans have completed the first trial in 4 months. They use technologies we have never considered. I recommend caution. On Earth, Dr. Jin Woo-yoon looked at samples of the Imperium plague under his microscope. He smiled as he understood the disease's structure. Got you, he whispered. Now for trial number 2. In her ship, Subin read Hyunwoo's report with growing concern. 1 trial passed already. It was unheard of. Perhaps these humans were more dangerous than they had thought. Dr. Jin Woo-yoon had not slept in 3 days. His eyes were red, but he smiled as he looked at the test results on his screen. Around him, 20 of Earth's best doctors and scientists worked at their own stations. I think we have it, he said quietly. The room went silent. Everyone turned to look at him. You found a cure? Asked his assistant, Dr. Minacho. Already? Jin Woo nodded. The Imperium approached this disease all wrong. They tried to fight the symptoms, not the cause. He pulled up a 3D model of a strange cell. It spun slowly on the large screen. Parts of it glowed red. This is the disease. It doesn't kill directly. It changes the body's own cells and makes them attack each other. An autoimmune response, said Moina. But how do we stop it? We don't fight it. We change it. Jinwoo typed quickly, and the model changed. The red parts turned green. We use CRISPR gene editing to turn the disease against itself. 2 weeks later, Imperial Medical Counselor Yoonji Han arrived on Earth. She wore a sealed suit to protect herself from Earth's primitive environment. Her face showed she expected to see failure. Jinwoo met her in a clean white room. On a table between them sat a small case with 20 vials of clear liquid. This is your attempt at a cure. Yunji asked, her voice cold. Our greatest medical minds have worked for centuries on this disease. Yes, and they made good progress, Jinwoo said politely. We built on their work. Yunji picked up a vial and studied it. How can you claim to cure something you've only known about for weeks? Sometimes fresh eyes see things differently, Jinwoo said. Your doctors focused on treating symptoms. We focused on changing the disease itself. Yunji put the vial down. Words are easy. Proof is difficult. Of course. Jinwoo pressed a button, and a wall turned clear. Behind it was a room with 10 beds. In each bed lay a patient with the blue-spotted skin of the disease. These are sufferers brought from your medical ships, Jinwoo explained. With their permission, we tested our cure 3 days ago. Yunji stepped closer to the glass. That's impossible. 3 days is not enough time. She stopped talking. The patients were sitting up. Their blue spots were fading. Some were eating normal food. One was even walking around the room. How? Yunji whispered. HFY technology, Jinwoo explained. We reprogrammed the disease to destroy itself. But this disease has killed millions across the galaxy, Yunji said. Her voice shook. Entire worlds have been quarantined. Jinwoo nodded sadly. I know. That's why we also developed these. He opened another case. Inside were vials of blue liquid. This is a vaccine. It prevents the disease entirely. Yunji stared at him. A cure and a vaccine. In 5 weeks. Actually, we finished the vaccine last week, Jinwoo said. But while we were working, we noticed something about 3 other Imperium diseases in your database. They all have similar structures. So, he opened a third case. More vials, in different colors. These are treatments for those diseases too, just in case they might be useful. Yunji's hands trembled as she picked up a green vial. This cures the burning fever. The disease that killed my sister. Jinwoo nodded gently. Yes. I'm sorry for your loss. That night, Yunji sent her report to Grand Imperial Counselor Subin. It was very short. The humans have completed the second trial. They have cured diseases we thought were incurable. I believe we have made a serious mistake in challenging them. Subin read the report twice. Then she looked out at the stars. For the first time in her long life, she felt afraid. Professor Jae-hyun Cho looked at the strange equation on his screen. It filled the entire wall of his office at Seoul National University. Around him, 20 mathematicians and computer scientists stared at the same problem. This is the famous problem that the Imperium can't solve. Jae-hyun asked, scratching his head. Yes, said Dr. Min-seo Kim. They've worked on it for 3,000 years. Jae-hyun walked closer to the screen. He touched parts of the equation, moving them around with his fingers. It looks familiar, he said. Very familiar. He suddenly smiled and clapped his hands. Of course. It's just like our traveling salesman problem. The others looked confused. The problem where you need to find the shortest path to visit many cities once and return home, Jae-hyun explained. We've been working on that for decades. He quickly typed on his keyboard. The equation changed shape on the screen. Look, if we change how we see the problem. He moved more parts around. It's not exactly the same, but the approach can be similar. 3 days later, Jae-hyun's team had built a special quantum computer just for this problem. It hummed quietly in the center of the room. Ready? Jae-hyun asked, his finger hovering over the start button. Everyone nodded. He pressed the button. The computer's lights blinked rapidly. 20 seconds later, it beeped. That's it. Dr. Min-seo asked. It's done already. Jae-hyun checked the results. His eyes widened. Yes, and it's found not just one solution, but a way to solve all problems in this category. 2 weeks after they started, Imperial Science Director Sora Kim arrived at the university. She was tall with orange skin and wore a silver suit covered in small screens. I am here to see your failure, she announced as she entered the lab. Jae-hyun bowed politely. "Welcome, Director Kim. We're happy to show you our results." He led her to a simple desk with a small black box on it. "This is your solution?" Sora asked, looking unimpressed. 3,000 years of Imperium science, and you offer a box. "It's what's inside the box that matters," Jae-yun said. He turned it on. A hologram appeared above the box, showing the original equation and then its solution. The solution then changed to show how it could be applied to similar problems. Sora stared at it. Her mouth opened and closed several times before she spoke. This is impossible," she whispered. "You must have cheated somehow." "No cheating," Jae-yun said. "We just looked at the problem differently." "But how?" Sora demanded. "How did you solve in weeks what our best minds couldn't solve in thousands of years?" Jae-yun thought for a moment. "Maybe because we don't live as long as your people do." "What does lifespan have to do with it?" "We know our time is short," Jae-yun explained. "Humans live less than 100 years. We can't afford to spend centuries on one problem. We must find shortcuts and new ways of thinking." He smiled gently. "When you have thousands of years to solve a problem, perhaps you don't try hard enough to solve it quickly." Sora looked at the solution again. "The Imperium will need to verify this." "Of course," Jae-yun said. "We've prepared full documentation of our method, and we've applied it to 12 other problems in your scientific database that were marked as unsolved." He handed her a small data stick. "The solutions to those are included as well. A small gift." That night, Sora's message to Grand Imperial Counselor Subin was short. "Third trial completed. They solved it in 2 weeks. They say their short lives make them think faster. I believe they are right." Subin crushed the message device in her hand. 3 trials completed, and less than 6 months had passed. This was not how it was supposed to go. The 6th challenge was strange. The Imperium wanted humans to create art that could move the emotions of the High Council. This seemed easy until Dr. Park explained the problem. "The High Council members are known for having no emotions," she told the gathered artists. "They pride themselves on being logical and cold. No art has moved them in 500 years." Famous composer Yuna Shin sat in the front row. She played with her long black hair as she thought. "So they want us to fail," she said. "They picked a challenge they think is impossible." "Exactly," Dr. Park nodded. "They don't understand human art." Yuna smiled. "Then we will teach them." For the next month, Yuna worked with visual artist Minjun Park. They studied everything known about the imperial species, their biology, their history, their senses. "They see more colors than we do," Minjun said one night as they worked late. "And they hear higher sounds. But they have never connected art to feelings," Yuma added. "They see colors and hear sounds, but they don't feel them here." She touched her heart. "So we need to make them feel for the first time," Minjun said. "We need to build a bridge between their senses and their buried emotions." They created something new. It wasn't just music or just visual art. It was a complete experience that used sound, light, subtle electric fields, and even scent. They called it Earth's Heart. When the day came to present it, High Counselor Jian Kang arrived with 5 other council members. Their faces showed nothing as they entered the special room built for the presentation. "This is your attempt," Joyeon asked coldly. "Your time is almost up." "Please sit," Yuma said, pointing to the circle of chairs. "The experience lasts 12 minutes." The aliens sat stiffly. Minjun started the program. Then he and Yuna left the room. From outside, they watched through one-way glass. The room darkened. Then soft blue light began to pulse like a heartbeat. Gentle sounds played from all directions. The chairs released special scents timed with the light changes. On screens around the room, images appeared. A human baby taking its first breath. An old couple holding hands as the sun set. A doctor saving a patient. A soldier giving water to an enemy. The music grew stronger. It told a story without words. The story of being small in a vast universe, but finding meaning in connection. 5 minutes in, one council member's hand moved to touch his chest. 7 minutes in, another's eyes grew wider. 10 minutes in, Jian Kang, who had not shown emotion in 200 years, had a tear slide down her blue cheek. When the experience ended, the council members sat in silence for a long time. Finally, Jian stood up. Her voice was different when she spoke. "How did you do this?" she asked quietly. "Do what?" Minjin asked. "Make us feel," she said, almost whispering the word. "Human art has always been about feelings," Yuna explained. "Technical skill is good, but emotion is what matters most. You must have used some technology to manipulate our brains," Jian insisted. "No," Minjin said. "We just found the emotions you already had and reminded you they were there." That night, Jian's message to Grand Imperial Counselor Subin was confusing. "I don't know how to explain what happened. The human's art made water come from my eyes. I think they have completed the 6th challenge. But I don't understand how. Be careful, Subin. These humans know things about us that we don't know about ourselves." Subin read the message and frowned. Water from the eyes. That was something Imperium children did, not High Council members. What kind of power did these humans have? The final challenge was the hardest. The Imperium wanted humans to build a faster-than-light spaceship. According to the Imperium, this was something that took them 2,000 years to develop. Chief Engineer Haijin Ryu stood in a massive hangar in Nevada. A strange ship sat in the center. It didn't look like normal spaceships in movies. It was round, like a disc, with a glass dome on top. No rocket engines were visible. "Is it ready?" asked Dr. Tu Quan, the physicist who had worked with Haijin for the past year. "Almost," Haijin said, checking something on her tablet. "The fold generators are at 98% power." They had worked in secret. Even most human governments didn't know what they were building. Only a small team of 50 engineers and scientists knew the full plan. "The Imperium ships push through space-time," Tewu explained. "They use massive power to force their way faster than light. Like using a hammer to break through a wall," Haijin added. "Our approach is different. We fold space-time instead," Tewu said, "like making a paper map smaller by folding it. The distance stays the same on the map, but your finger can cross it much faster." The next day, Imperial Grand Admiral Junho Choi arrived to inspect their progress. He was tall with blue skin and wore a uniform covered in medals and strange symbols. "Where is your faster-than-light ship?" he demanded. "Your time is almost up." Haijin pointed to the disc-shaped craft. "It's right there, Admiral." Junho laughed. "That tiny thing. No engines? No power systems. You have failed this challenge." "Actually," Haijin said calmly, "we completed it months ago. We've been improving it since then." Junho's face showed he didn't believe her. "Prove it." "We will," said Tewu. "We've prepared a demonstration." They walked to a control room with large windows overlooking the hangar. On screens, they could see Mars, Earth's neighbor planet. "We will send this small probe to Mars and back," Haijin explained, holding up a ball the size of an apple. "Mars is millions of kilometers away," Junho said. "Even with faster-than-light travel, the round trip would take hours with our best ships." Haijin placed the probe inside the disk ship. No one went with it. The ship was controlled from the room. "Ready?" she asked. Everyone nodded. She pressed a button. There was a small flash of light around the ship. Then nothing happened. The ship still sat in the hangar. Junho smirked. "As I expected. Complete failure." Then Tewu pointed to one of the screens. "Look." The screen showed the probe on the surface of Mars. It was taking pictures and collecting soil samples. "Impossible," Junho whispered. "How long has it been there?" "It's been on Mars for about 40 seconds now," Haijin said, checking her watch. "Let's bring it back." She pressed another button. There was another small flash of light. The probe appeared back inside the ship, covered in red Martian dust. Junho's mouth hung open. That's not possible. The travel was instant. Not exactly, Teu explained. It took about 0.3 seconds each way. We're still working on making it faster. Junho finally found his voice again. How long have you had this technology? Haijin smiled. We didn't have it before your challenge. We developed it specifically because you asked us to. Thanks for the motivation. That night, Junho's message to Grand Imperial Counselor Subin shook with fear. The humans have completed the final challenge. Their FTL technology is unlike anything we've seen. They don't push through space-time like we do. They fold it. The implications are concerning. Subin read the message 3 times. All 7 challenges completed, in less than 2 years instead of 3. And each solution showed thinking that the Imperium had never considered. What have we awakened? She whispered to herself. The great hall of the Imperial Council gleamed with gold and silver. Thousands of alien representatives from across the galaxy sat in rising circles. At the center was a round table where the High Council members sat. Grand Imperial Counselor Subin Choi looked uncomfortable. For the first time in Imperial history, a test species had completed all 7 challenges. Not only completed them, but done so in record time with solutions no one had thought possible. Bring in the humans, she ordered. The massive doors opened. 5 humans walked in calmly. Dr. Ju Park led them, with General Do Yin Lee at her side. Behind them came Minji Kang, Dr. Jin Woo Yun, and Professor Jie Yin Cho. The aliens whispered as the small group walked to the center of the hall. Many had bet that humans would fail the challenges. Some had already made plans to colonize Earth. Humans, Subin announced, her voice echoing through the hall. You have completed the 7 trials of worth. This has never happened before. We know, Ju said simply. According to our ancient laws, Subin continued, you may now request full membership in the Imperium as an equal race. The hall went silent. This was the moment when the humans would bow and thank the Imperium for accepting them. Instead, Representative Sumin Han stepped forward. She had not been to any of the challenge presentations. She was Earth's chief diplomat. Thank you for the offer, Sumin said with a polite smile. But we have a counteroffer. Shocked whispers filled the hall. No one made counteroffers to the Imperium. Your challenges were interesting problems to solve, Sumin continued. We enjoyed them, but we did not solve them because we feared your rule. We solved them because that's what humans do. We solve problems. She opened a small case and took out a data device. She placed it on the table. This contains designs for 100 innovations that could help the Imperium. New medical treatments, better ship designs, more efficient energy systems. The council members stared at the device. What do you want in return? Subin asked suspiciously. Partnership, Sumin said. Not membership. We propose a new type of relationship, equals working together. You have knowledge from thousands of years of history. We have new ways of looking at old problems. Ambassador Taho Kim stood up angrily. This is not how things are done. The Imperium rules. Others obey. How has that worked for solving your biggest problems? General Lee asked quietly. Your medical technology was stuck. Your computational systems couldn't solve basic equations. Your construction methods were thousands of years old. The room fell silent again. Ju stepped forward. We don't want to rule you. We don't want you to rule us. We want to work with you. Imagine what we could accomplish together instead of against each other. The council members looked at each other. This had never happened before. Finally, Subin spoke. We will consider your offer. 3 days later, the treaty was signed. For the first time, the Imperium agreed to a partnership instead of rulership. Human scientists would work with Imperial experts. Both would learn from each other. As they prepared to return to Earth, Ambassador Taho approached Dr. Ju. I don't understand, he said. Your technology could defeat our military. You could have demanded anything. Why ask for partnership? Juwu smiled. We've spent enough time in our history fighting each other to know that conquest doesn't lead to progress. War destroys. Cooperation builds. She looked up at the stars visible through the station's windows. There's a whole universe out there to explore. We'll get further together than apart. Tahoe watched as the humans boarded their ship, a ship that could travel faster than any Imperial vessel. For the first time in his long life, he felt something new, hope for a different future. Maybe, he whispered, we needed someone to laugh at our challenges. Maybe that's how we learn to grow again.